Did we fight well?
This is Olenna Tyrell. She is defeated. She is surrounded by the Lannister force. She has nowhere to go and nowhere to hide. And yet in her final moments, she's about to reveal why she understood the game better than almost anyone else in Westeros. She's about to show us what it really means to master the rules of power.
How will you do it?
You know, when we talk about power in Game of Thrones, we usually think of dragons, swords, and armies. We think of Tywin Lannister crushing his enemies with ruthlessness. We think of Daenerys Targaryen burning cities to ash. But Olenna Tyrell never had any of those things. She had no dragons. She had no massive army. She was an old woman in a world that dismisses old women. And yet, she survived longer than almost anyone else. She protected her house.
I did unspeakable things to protect my family.
She outmaneuvered her enemies. She played the game better than people who had far more power than she did. And this scene, this final moment with Jaime, this is where we see exactly why. This is a masterclass in what it really means to understand the game.
I never lost a night's sleep over them. They were necessary.
Now, to understand why this scene is so powerful, we need context. Olenna's house has just been destroyed. The Sept of Baelor has been blown up. Marjorie is dead. The Tyrells are finished. Jaime Lannister has come to Highgarden to accept the Tyrell surrender. Everything Olenna fought for, everything she built, is gone. She's lost, she's defeated, she's dying. In this moment, with nothing left to lose, Olenna does something remarkable. She doesn't rage. She doesn't beg for mercy. She doesn't try to negotiate or manipulate or scheme. Instead, she sits in Highgarden, drinks poisoned wine, and tells Jaime the truth. And in doing so, she transforms her defeat into something far more valuable than victory. If this kind of character analysis interests you, if you want to understand characters who challenge our moral categories, subscribe. I am building a community of people who refuse simple narratives. Help me reach 1,000 subscribers by March, and let's explore these iconic moments together. To understand why Olenna could face this moment with such composure, we need to look back at how she got here. We need to understand how she played the game throughout her entire life. Because Olenna didn't just survive by accident. She survived because she understood something fundamental about power that most people never grasp. Power isn't about force. Power is about understanding the system so completely that you can move within it without being detected. Let's look at one of the most revealing moments in the entire series. This is Olenna speaking with Tywin Lannister.
Impossible.
Why?
My grandson is the pride of Highgarden.
Notice how Olenna speaks to Tywin. She doesn't defer to him. She doesn't show fear or respect in the way most people do when they're in the presence of the most powerful man in Westeros. Instead, she challenges him. She brings up Cersei's age. She brings up the rumors of incest. She speaks uncomfortable truths. And Tywin, rather than being offended, actually respects her for it. He engages with her as an equal. This is the moment that reveals Olenna's understanding of the game. She understood that Tywin responds to intelligence and strategy, not flattery or submission. She understood that if she came to him as a supplicant, he would treat her as weak. But if she came to him as a strategic equal, he would respect her. And that respect is what allowed her to negotiate from a position of strength, even though she had far fewer resources than the Lannisters. Understanding the game means understanding people. It's about knowing what they want, what they fear, and what they'll do to protect their interests. It's about understanding that every interaction is a negotiation, and every negotiation is an opportunity to gain advantage. And this understanding is what allowed Olenna to survive when so many others fell. While other houses were destroying themselves through pride and short-sightedness, Olenna was making calculated moves. She was positioning her family. She was protecting Marjorie through strategic marriages. She was playing the long game. She understood that in the Game of Thrones, you don't win by making the biggest move. You win by making the right moves at the right time. But the most brilliant move Olenna ever made was poisoning Joffrey. And this is where her understanding of the game becomes absolutely clear.
I'm not worried about the Iron Bank.
We both know you're smarter than that.
Look at this moment. This is right before the poisoning happens. Olenna and Tywin are walking to the wedding feast. They're discussing the cost of the event. Olenna is teasing Tywin about the crown's debts. She's confident. She's at ease. Because she knows something that no one else in that moment knows. She knows that Joffrey is about to die. She knows that her plan is about to unfold. She knows that she's about to change the entire course of the realm. Think about what had to happen for this plan to work. Olenna knew that Joffrey was a monster, that marrying Marjorie to him was equivalent to sentencing her to death. And then to execute her plan, she had to find someone willing to poison the king. Someone with access, someone she could trust, someone who had their own reasons to want Joffrey dead. She had to position herself so that she wouldn't be suspected. She had to ensure that her family would survive the aftermath. She had to predict how the other players would respond. She had to understand the ripple effects of her actions across the entire political landscape. This is the genius of Olenna's understanding. She didn't poison Joffrey out of revenge or anger. She did it strategically. She did it because she understood that Joffrey was a liability. She understood that his death would create chaos that would benefit her house. She understood that with Joffrey gone, the Tyrells could position themselves differently. They could make new alliances. They could survive. And most importantly, she understood that she could do it and survive. She understood the system well enough to know that she wouldn't be suspected. She understood that Cersei had far more obvious enemies. This is what it means to understand the game. It's not about being ruthless like Tywin. It's not about being bold like Daenerys. It's about understanding the system so completely that you can move within it without being detected. It's about understanding that true power comes from knowledge, not from force. And this understanding is what allowed Olenna to face her final moment with such clarity. She understands that Cersei has destroyed her house out of spite. She understands that she's been outmaneuvered by someone who doesn't play by the rules of the game, and she understands that there's only one move left to make.
I'd hate to die like your son, clawing at my neck, foam and bile spilling from my mouth, eyes blood red.
Watch what happens in this moment. Jaime asks Olenna if she has any final words, and Olenna leans forward. She looks directly at Jaime. Her eyes are clear, her voice is steady, and she says,
Tell Cersei, I wanted to know it was me.
This is the ultimate expression of Olenna's understanding of the game. She's not begging for her life. She's not trying to negotiate. She's making one final strategic move. She's ensuring that Cersei knows she was outplayed. She's claiming her victory even as she faces death. Olenna could have died quietly. She could have taken her secret to the grave. But she understood that her power didn't end with her death. Her power came from what people believed about her. And she wanted Cersei to know, and she wanted history to know, that she had poisoned the king. She wanted to be remembered as the woman who played the game better than everyone else. She wanted to taint Cersei's victory with the knowledge that she had been outplayed by an old woman. This is why Olenna Tyrell understood the game perfectly. Yes, she lost. Her family was destroyed. Her house was ended. But in that final moment with Jaime, she made a choice that proved she understood something Cersei never would. That the real victory isn't in surviving. It's in deciding how the story ends. By confessing to Joffrey's poisoning, Olenna ensured that her death wouldn't be a footnote in Cersei's triumph. It would be a reminder that she had outplayed the queen, that she had won the most important battle of all, the battle for legacy. Let me know if you agree with me in the comments below.